Rise African youth for your continent, because it's about time that our influence and our contribution is felt every part of the world and also in our African continent. You're welcome to African Student Voices on AAU TV. My name is Ajiman Otredako, and I'm glad having you watching me today. You know, a continent without a plan or national development or a development plan is such that has no need to achieve anything. But if you have one, perhaps you have a direction. Even if you crawl, you will be able to achieve something for your people. And Africa as a continent is blessed with so much of these plans. We can mention of the Agenda 2063, the Abuja Treaty, and a whole lot of treaties that we have laid down by the help of the African Union and the African Union Commission for the youth and so forth and so on. And today on this show, we really wish to assess the efforts of the African Union towards the Africa we want. You know, we, the young people in Africa, are the heirs and also the beneficiaries of all these treaties. So if in 50 years' time if we don't assess to see how well we're doing on achieving all these things, but we have no business for the continent. But if we do so, then today you have to join me on this show with my amazing guest to assess how well we've done with the African Union in regards to achieving the Africa we want, the 7 great aspirations and more. So don't go anywhere. We'll go for a short break. When we come back, I'll let you know who my guests are and dive deep with you on how well we've done on the African Agenda 2063 towards the Africa we want. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back to African Student Voices on AAU TV. My name is Ajiman Otredako, and I have with me amazing guest to discuss today's show, assessing the efforts of the African Union towards the Africa we want. I will meet the first person. This is a very passionate communicator and also a youth activist. Okay, and he's in the person of Mr. Emmanuel Kwesi Mensah. Emma, you're welcome to African Student Voices.
Thank you very much.
Great. Your passion is really felt. They will feel you. And I also have here the gorgeous. Yeah, allow me to say that. Oh, she's a writer and also a gender activist, and she's the person of Mercedes Rowe Asamani. Mercedes, you're welcome to African Student Voices.
Thank you very much.
Great. So, nice people. We're glad to have you here. I mean, you're representing lots of African youth who wish they would be here to also speak to the matter on what their view is and how they can express their thoughts about the African Development Plan. I think that we can only represent the African Development Plan with one document, which is the African Agenda 2063, which was brought together for a 50-year plan, basically. We are just from few years past to a decade. So I think it's right for us to assess how well it has done and if there's any need for us to also put in some word of how we can achieve it better, it will be in the right position. So let's begin with something about what you've been doing so far that we can now zoom in. So Ima, what have you been doing so far?
Basically, I've been communicating.
Sure.
And I've been empowering the youth out there. So that's what I've been doing. And I'm affiliated to the University of Cape Coast. So yeah, that's where I'm coming from. So at least I'm linked to a university.
Sure, in the right direction.
Yeah.
And Nkrumah is there.
How about you?
I've been writing. I think I'm a bit passionate about the youth involvement in politics. I do a bit of gender activism, with focus on both women and men. So basically, that's what I've been doing.
Great. So now let's begin with the composition of the African Union. You know, it represents. We have our heads of states representing all together 55 countries, all together the African Union, and we have the African Union Commission, which is headed by His Excellency Mahmoud Faki, who's also ensuring that things are being done very well. It is out of all of these organizations that we have the African Agenda 2063, which has 7 aspirations. So we'll start with the very first one, and then see how well we've done. I think we'll just cut to the chase. Let's begin with the very first aspiration, which wholesomely says that we were looking forward for a prosperous Africa based on inclusive growth. We leave nobody out. And sustainable development. Let me start with you, Ima. How do you find the African Union their effort towards achieving this. Do you think that Africa at this moment, close to like 10 years, has been able to, or is really moving towards a prosperous state where growth is inclusive and then we have development which is sustainable?
Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Sure.
I will say that they are trying their best, but their best hasn't been a best. A 50-year plan, and we're almost 10 years into the plan, and we haven't seen massive growth, the inclusiveness of the growth. We haven't seen it. It's just some few people or some few countries that we are seeing this growth in there. So we can talk of the almighty Rwanda right now, because they are doing great, so we will call them the almighty, right? So it's more like a selective amnesia, selective growth, not inclusive. Well, we can look at the bigger picture in the next 40 years ahead of us, which we could get close to, we all coming to that point. But as we speak right now, it's just some bit and pieces of it. It's just one or two people, one or two countries that are doing well, but not as Africa as a whole doing that. So the AU has a long way to go in achieving this inclusive thing that we're talking about here.
Can you point to a number of issues which you think perhaps creating more division amongst us Africans? Because if we're not inclusive in our growth, then perhaps we have so much fences in between us. What really do you think is the reason why we are not really feeling that inclusiveness in the growth?
Every state, every president, every leader has his own interest. So unlike the EU, that they all have a common interest, when they come together, they set these things and they make sure that the heads of every state are doing it. When it comes to Africa, we go for meetings, the AU meetings or the summit. We lay down these things, okay, we want to do A, B, C, and D. They come back to your countries, and because the interest that their donors, yes, let them put that, because they are being sponsored by other countries, mostly in the European countries and the American countries and the Asian countries. So if maybe you are being sponsored by China and they gave you money or loan, they gave you conditions, because every loan has conditions.
Yeah.
So they gave you this condition. Now you've gone for an AU summit, and what they are discussing goes contrary to what your sponsor has on board or is bringing on board or want to implement. You listen, but once you come back to your country, I'm alone. They are helping me, so I can't do anything against them. So this has hampered the growth of Africa as a whole, because we have plans, honestly. The Agenda 2063 is a beautiful plan, 50-year plan. It's beautiful.
It's excellent, right?
Very excellent. But the implementation is the problem, because like Akajiska, I tell you that this is what I want you to do. I want this, and that. The AU meets and don't do this, because we want all of us to grow together and all that. Yeah. Once you come back to your country, do you think are you going to go by what the AU are saying or what your sponsor is saying? That's a problem.
That's a problem.
Yeah, so I feel that, the selectiveness, because everybody is towards where, like Nasu Majin, good, from, because I'm getting goodies from here. I can't spoil them or spoil it. So I think basically that is that.
Great. Mr. What do you think about this, perhaps?
I think with the aspiration one, in terms of maybe job creation and ensuring that there's inclusiveness in prosperity, as in women are included. I think AU is doing quite well, because I don't know why Ima wants to laugh.
I'm not laughing.
But I think they're doing quite well, because I think the MasterCard Index of women entrepreneurs recently ranked Africa as the continent with the most female entrepreneurs. There's Uganda as first, there's Botswana, and then there's Ghana. I think Ghana alone, we have 46% of women being private business owners. Yeah. And I think that's a step in the right direction. But what business is it? Probably that 46%. what business are they into? They could be business owners, but what type of business? Is it businesses that earn much or just businesses for survival? I don't think our focus should be on the percentages, but then the context and the depth of businesses these women do. Because if Africa would develop, women must also be able to be economically independent. Until then, we would just be moving around in circles. Away from that, with regards to basic necessities, I don't think we've done well. Recently, there was a report on Nigeria about over 1 million kids, and they don't even have access to clean water. And this is Nigeria. We've not even talked of Ghana. In Ghana here, we have people sharing water with animals. And these are basic necessities. Water, electricity, sanitation should be easy to come by. But we can't even provide these for our citizens. So what then are we even saying? Because if we don't have these basic necessities, how do we get the bigger ones? We have electricity. Nigeria is in a terrible state when it comes to electricity. It's like
a big energy crisis over there.
Owning a generator is not even a luxury anymore. Like it's a necessity. You should have one. The situation in Ghana is no different, though better. But I believe we've come so far that we should be looking into alternate sources of power, aside relying solely on the hydroelectric power. We have sun wasting all over. It may be expensive, but if we had committed to probably solar energy or investing in other sources of power, I don't think we would be having this problem on the continent. So with regards to basic necessities, I don't think we've done so well. But with regards to women entrepreneurs, I think we are doing well. But like I said, the depth of the jobs they do should be the focus. It's not just the numbers. If we have 46% of women being private owners, and the only sector we find them are a majority of them in the informal sector, we are going nowhere. Because we need a balance of the formal and the informal sector to at least make a good case for ourselves. With regards to education too, I think we are okay with the advent of free SHS and the TVET thing to at least push more money into vocational and technical skills. ICT, I know there's code girls, and we're training our young girls in coding and all of these. I think it's a step in the right direction. You can do better because we are too old to be dealing with some of these basic things. We should be aiming higher than where we are now.
Not long ago, we had the Pan-African Heritage Museum, which is led by Honorable Kojo Yanka, at somewhere, I think, the Winneba Pomazi Hills. And according to history, this is one of the very first indigenous, massive Pan-African museums, because all of our artifacts that really we owned,
they are sitting somewhere in people's museums.
In the UK museum somewhere. They have the real artifacts. We don't have the original ones. And it tells us that perhaps we really lag behind in terms of telling our own story and our own history. Do you think we've come so far with the aspiration too, which says an integrated continent, publicly united, based on the ideals of Pan-Africanism and the vision of African Renaissance? Are we really drawing towards massively for this second aspiration?
No, we're not, because Africa is not a unit as we speak. We are divided, right? Everyone is, it's more like a forest. When you are standing behind, this is like they are knitted together.
Like one tree.
Yes. But once you get close to it, okay, so the Wawa is here, the Odum is here, the Sapele is here. All right? We as a unit, we all have different aspirations. The reason why we are saying that the AU can do better than what they are doing. And, the AU is not able to perform because the leaders mix the AU, and these leaders are the problem. Because they go for the meetings, the summit, they go get all the, African leaders have the most intelligent ideas on earth. They'll mount the podiums like internationally. They speak a lot. They're applaud and everything for them because they seem resourceful. But when they come back to their countries, they can't implement what they said over there here.
Yeah.
We're all chasing after what we feel is right for our countries. And so the togetherness is not there. Meanwhile, we are fighting for African Union. It means we all should be together.
Yeah.
You know, if we were to be together, the EUs and the Asian countries wouldn't have become a match to we Africans. Aren't we resourceful? We are the most resourceful continent on earth. 60% of the world's uncultivated lands is in Africa.
Okay.
What shows that we can't even feed 60% of the world's population if we are to utilize this very well. It means we have let me borrow what the president said. Yes, it's also
Come there.
come there.
I think we have what it takes.
That's the truth. We have it, but leadership problems. Like Obian Namnokwan, we'll just come and listen as we are here. Oh, like you talk. But once we move out of this building,
We all have our sides.
like I have my hustle, okay? Because Charlie, that's our problem. And if we were to come together and champion common causes, we wouldn't be where we are today, and we wouldn't be talking about if the AU are doing better. We would be, we are applauding them because they are doing better.
Yeah.
So that's the problem.
Mercedes, what do you have to say about this in terms of Pan-Africanism and then this renaissance? Are we really on that course?
I don't think so. I know under aspiration too is decolonization. I would say we are physically liberated from colonialism, but mentally we remain slaves because we keep lying to ourselves. And I always say this, until we realize that we are not really liberated from whatever shackles colonialism put us through, we're never going forward.
So you mean
Because
that in this age there's this new form of...
Yeah. We are mentally enslaved because physically we are all independent states, but we are truly not. Because like Ima said, we go for AU meetings, we all have our political godfathers, as in the countries. We all report back to our colonial masters. We have the French side reporting to the colonial, we have those from the Portuguese side reporting to wherever. So we are never united in mind. Because whatever decision we take, we have to report back and seek approval from them before we're able to help ourselves.
Because they are financing you.
So we are not independent. So I think we've not really done. We keep deceiving ourselves with long scripts and speeches. Oh, Africa is this. We are pushing, but truly we are not. It seems our leaders are serving the interests of other people, and not the African continent. Because if we were truly liberated from colonialism, a lot of things wouldn't be happening. I was having a discussion with Ima. Our education system, we don't even educate ourselves to solve the problems of Africa. We can't even solve the problems in our environment with our education. So who are we educating ourselves for? We take a lot of decisions based on what people are doing elsewhere without reading into what may have informed their decision. We've thrown a lot of our cultural values away because we are hungry to be accepted. It seems the African has a problem with self-esteem.
Exactly.
We have low self-esteem that we can't simply accept anything that's ours. We have to be given a nod from someone out there before we say, oh, this is good. Until someone applauds or another person out there gives us a nod, we don't believe in ourselves. So we are joking when we say this aspiration to even promoting Pan-Africanism and colon. It's a joke.
Not to cut you, just this Monday, we're having a discussion backstage. Pan-African Parliament, they were to vote for a new chairperson.
It turned into a fight.
They were fighting. And we are here talking about Pan-Africanism here. Their own parliament, their own leaders. So these people are the national leaders.
I think you've lost focus, or
we've lost focus. Because now, like, it's become more political than we see the bigger picture of a united Africa. Their interest in it because, okay, if I gain this position, I'll get this money or this thing here, that thing there. These have been our focus, not we coming together to form a united front. You know, what happened to the eco or the yes.
Yeah, the currency.
What happened to
There's
it?
even a United Africa under this aspiration.
Like-
What has happened to that dream?
Everything has fallen down, and you know, that's why I said leadership problems. These same big men, these same leaders, you know, we tell them our problems. They know all the problems. That's the fact. They know the solution to the problem, but because me, Ima, I'm collecting 50,000 from you to help me build my mansion here or this company there, and you are giving me conditions. Once I go for those, indirectly, I'm projecting your interest, not mine. And once I project mine, it means I'm projecting the interest of Africa, but I'm projecting your interest as a Westerner. And so there's no way they haven't gone for meeting, they'll come together as one. With the, how do you call it, the education that she mentioned, we are doing well, but we are training people for jobs that don't exist.
Okay.
All right? The internet is there. Ghana is doing very well. The reason, we can talk about the peace and the stability, that's why Twitter Africa is bringing it here or something like that. But are we educating the youth to fit for now the positions that will be available in the next 30 to 50 years?
Our youth to be pushed out.
We don't have the know-how, the skills. You go to school, your things that you are doing, like things in Namhade. The problems are here, and they want you to follow this line or toe this lane. What are we doing to ourselves? Once you go to the EU or the Western countries, they have seen it, 10 years, 50 years back. Okay, in the next 100 years, this is how the world is going to be.
Yeah.
They have a plan. Just like we do. If we have to implement this plan, Africa will be better off without the Western countries.
Yeah. But
implementation is the problem. They are training people to fit into all these crevices and all these niches, but how are we doing it?
So the how factor.
Yeah, the
I
how.
think that leads us to our next aspiration, an Africa of good governance. Let's now check with our metrics. We have a lot of African countries, 55 countries more. In good governance, democracy, respect for human rights, and the rule of law. How well would you grade Africa in 100 scale?
Oh.
And why?
That's much. I like 100 skill. Why?
Position the Africa you want and then tell why.
Okay, let me give you 3 instances right now.
Sure.
In Uganda,
Sure.
President Museveni, he's been on the seat from 1986. 1986 till now.
Some of us were not born.
Oh, please. I tell them one way and cry. Like, is this the democracy that we are talking about? From 1986, one person. And your country is not developing as the citizens want it to be, and you're still there. His they had I think January 4th or January 14th. Yeah, he was.
His opponents.
Yeah, that was his 6th time being elected.
Yeah.
It wasn't without chaos and violence, because they feel that they've had enough of it. When you go to South Sudan, like President Salva, his time is up. But the elections are being postponed. Why? Because they love power. Once they are there and somebody is coming to take it from them, I've not done this and that. Why not do this and this so that at least for a year or two, so that I can amass this amount of money, so that if I get out of parliament or how do you call it, out of government, at least I can look after my family and all that. When you look at Ethiopia, before now, it was the horn of Africa's stability. Like we don't hear any bad thing from them, but now there is conflict brewing in Ethiopia right now. So on a scale of 100,
how would you put Africa?
45 to 50.
Wow.
Well,
that is funny.
That's a pass. Like 50 is a pass.
Really?
Or like you get 50 credit, you pass. You say because you ain't do
Not there yet.
we are dragging ourselves back. We could have gotten there, but we are our own problems. We seem to be running in circles all the time, going for treaties. Benin, Mali, Goita. This is his second coup d'etat. The people are fed up. They don't want it, but he's done it, and now I think he's been suspended from ECOWAS and AU. Why are we doing this to ourselves?
That's all right. Is that all of punitive
No,
measures?
but if you suspend Mali, why are they gaining from the ECOWAS in the first place? And why would they even care about a suspension from the
in
ECOWAS?
Ivory Coast, somewhere I think last 2 years in Ivory Coast, the president had to extend, work with the judiciary to extend the year of tenure, so he could stay for longer, from 4 to 5 or 6 years. Like,
meanwhile, this is the same person who had issues with the previous president.
Yes.
But then he's voted into power and he's doing the same thing.
So you think that the area of good governance, we
no. I think I would side with Ima on his cause, because we are not okay with the democracy that was introduced to us by our colonial masters. What stops us from sitting down and carving out a ruling system that would help us? Is that not what the Asians have done?
Yeah.
Is that not what China is doing? China is like on top of the world now. What stops us from sitting there and carving
our own democracy?
We are this power hungry and we know our flaws. Why not sit there and carve a system where
will suit us?
That will suit us and it will benefit everybody. It's like there's no gun to our head to practice someone's type of democracy.
Exactly.
Even the British, aside democracy, they have their monarchy still in place.
Exactly.
I didn't know people came to introduce the democracy to us.
Yeah, they did.
But then they have monarchs. Does Germany not have a chancellor?
They do.
So what stops us from also sitting down and crafting a system that would benefit the people? Because we are deceiving ourselves.
What difference would that make to us?
This is new to us.
We're looking at good governance. I do think good governance is about our laws or the kind of people who come to power.
The system that we practice.
It's both. No matter how good you are, if the system is not right, you're likely to be corrupted by the system.
Yes.
And our political terrain is such that our leaders don't have the political will to implement certain things, not because they don't want to, they wish to, because we all want Africa to be a beautiful place.
Exactly.
But then the political will is not there because they are afraid to step on toes. At the end of the day, no political party is in to do a fanfare, show their faces on TV and go back to sleep. The ultimate goal is political power. And so people are protecting their political power. So if I do this and I would get the wrath of the people, even if it's good, I would have to suspend it and shelve it.
Exactly.
Because you have to suit the people. And that's where we go wrong. In policy implementation, there's always the agitation stage. Unfortunately, that's the point we get to and we never cross. Because the moment agitation starts,
we are afraid.
We are afraid and we back off.
Yeah.
But that is a stage that's supposed to come. But beyond this is when the people get to understand the reason for the things you do, and then they accept. So you don't expect to put out a policy and that everybody will side with it. Unfortunately, our leaders are not ready for that stage. The moment there's a push from the people, they back off. And we can't develop with such a stature. Like what Ima mentioned, Mali, Uganda, Burkina, it's terrible. All around us, you don't really see what's happening. Last year in Nigeria was the whole SARS bit. And Nigeria is a giant of Africa.
That's a tragic one.
And
with the SARS.
then
very
there's SARS, people are being... So now, the last time I watched a video on Instagram and they are fighting, they are still fighting in some of the states.
Yeah.
And we are talking of good governance.
Well,
if it was really happening, it would be reflective in some of these.
Well, I'm actually not so happy about the issue of good governance, rule of law, and the justice, the poor score. But we'll have to go for a quick break. We'll be right back. And as we keep assessing, join us as we assess. So if 45% from Iman, what would be your percentage?
Maybe 48.
48%. Well, I think she actually scored Africa more. But how much are you scoring in Africa? Let's go for a bit. We'll be right back and then we'll look more about the aspirations and also our performance. Back to African Student Voice on AAU TV. My name is Ajaman Ochodakwa. I'm joined by Emmanuel and Mercedes as they become my audit assistants. We are just trying to assess the African Union in regards to the Agenda 2063, which is a 50-year plan for Africa, the Africa we want. And we want to see, with what we are seeing and hearing, what we are reading online, we want to see if Africa is really achieving or getting close to achieve these aspirations. And we've already done 3. And let's continue with the fourth one, which says a peaceful and secure Africa. No eyebrows are raised. Like seriously, in Africa, peaceful and secure
It's good
Africa.
it follows the governance.
Oh, yes, it has to follow because
So
they fall in line.
Emma, what do you think? A peaceful and secure Africa. From your perspective, do you think Africa today, 2 years to a decade of this plan, are we achieving that kind of peace and that security?
We're not. Just this Sunday, 130 children were being abducted in Nigeria, like Niger State, or as a Niger State. So where lies the peace and the yes that we want to portray out there? You know, I watched a video. I think it was a panel of some African grades journalists talking about the AU. You know what they said? In regards to the peace and security, that aspect, the AU are being sponsored by the EU. So once I'm sponsoring you and I want to induce you to cause conflict in this country or that state, won't you do it?
Oh, are you alleging that perhaps?
No, because now they are sponsoring you. What they say is what you do, indirectly or even directly. All right. So in Ghana here, just recently, people are getting missing here and there. People are getting killed for no reason. The 30 girls that got missing till date, young one. And the peace, security. No, we are responsible for our own security. Okay, that's the best that you can do for yourself. But as a nation, as a continent, I don't think we are doing good for ourselves. Because all these countries that we mentioned, silencing the guns,
So I think we can the team can put on the screen the silence of the guns map. We have this picture about the guns silencing campaign.
We want it so that we can
see.
Was it not supposed to end?
No, not this one. The second one. It has
we can talk about it.
A number of guns on the map. So everywhere you see a gun, it means that place
there's chaos.
There's chaos there.
Yes.
And according to the picture, we have lots of guns in the continent. Lots of them.
There is Nigeria, like automatically there is Nigeria there. But I think it's only Ghana that we don't find some of these things there. But we have our own problems that we are facing. All right. There's Somalia. All these countries are facing such insecurity. There is hunger. There is famine. Poverty. How come the most resourceful continent, people are still living in abject poverty in this age and time? Like, what haven't we done well for us to get to where we are right now? It's a big challenge. So, for that aspect, if I'm to rate it,
score.
Oh no, negative
25.
Mercedes, I mean, where has our peace gone to? I mean, where is the African peace that we promise each other?
There can be no peace and security without economic stability or development. Because if the youth have businesses or jobs doing, I don't think they'll go about picking guns to follow some of these political leaders to cause chaos and mayhem. So we are deceiving ourselves. We are preaching peace and security, and yet economically we are not sound. Because it's when people are comfortable. There's this account adage that says, when your tummy is full, you won't talk. So if you are comfortable in your home, I don't think you go out there going to fight. I think in February or December 2020, 317 girls were kidnapped in Zamfara in Nigeria.
Nigeria, I think they've been leading that.
We thought after the Chibok girls in 2014, this would end. Yeah. And 2014, that was just a year after this. So were their leaders not there when we were having this 2063 agenda?
They were there.
They were there.
And we know most of these people are financed by political leaders. We can't pretend that it's not them.
Well, we have no evidence, though.
We have no evidence, but we know.
But where do they get their money from?
They are financed by political
somebody
leaders
finances these
for their personal interest.
But for who does that, we don't know.
No, we don't know who. But we know they are political leaders who finance some of these things to serve their interest. So how do we sit around tables and preach peace and security, and then we turn around to do this? Like I said, if the youth are not resourced, these things won't end. Because no one who is resourced would get up and engage in some of these things. Exactly. The insecurity is just becoming too much. Recently, a friend sent me a video of the Murtala Mohammed Airport and how a lot of Nigerians are. It's like they're escaping Nigeria, and this is their home country.
They're coming to Ghana.
How can you be in your own home country and
be a refugee?
Like you are eager to run away.
Fugitive.
You are eager to run from your own home country. It's sad how if they're to bring a vessel here and ask us to join to maybe even if it's Malta, I can assure you it will be left with only the children of politicians in this country, because we would all join and leave. But is that the Africa we want to build?
I don't think so.
Is that the Africa we want to leave behind for younger generations?
I don't think so.
Because if you don't take it, the younger generations are going to curse us. We are tapping.
I think it's begun. We have so many bloggers these days. Or you just go online and start insulting
because
people.
the frustration is too much. At least out there, your work pays off.
Exactly.
Or your skill is even recognized. But here in Africa, we place value on things that are not to be valued. We major in the minors. The things you're supposed to concentrate on, we don't really care. And that's why political leaders would want to be in existence forever. Because back in the days where our culture revered people who promoted values and ethics and lived by our traditions, today you are respected or revered based on the cash you pull out. We don't care if you're a ritualist or whatever. Nobody cares where you earn your money. How can there ever be peace and security with such? Because if I'm struggling to make it, I have a master's, I still don't have a job. And I see people who perhaps were nowhere near me doing well. Wouldn't you be tempted to join some of these things? So peace and security can only be achieved with economic development.
Well, the way you've spoken, I think that your score is scary. What's your score?
It'll be running in the negative, so let's move on.
Whoa. Let's quickly dip into an Africa with a strong cultural identity, common heritage, and shared value and ethics. Recently, I think our African Union Day celebration had a theme. African arts, culture, and heritage as levers for building the African economy. So perhaps we're seeing that there's some light, I believe, that will be favorable to you guys. Protecting the African culture and heritage, projecting it. Have we done so well in giving our identity to ourselves?
I think for this year's AU Day celebration, it was beautiful. I want to say because I'm in Cape Coast, so the kids, I think no, they didn't match. They wore the African print to school.
Oh, okay.
That day, I even took pictures of some.
Oh, great.
And I posted them online.
Great.
But it was beautiful.
Great.
Okay.
Was it only in Cape Coast or some area?
Well,
I don't think it was
I'm in Cape Coast, so
well, that's a good
yes,
one.
and so it's good for them.
Yeah, very good.
All right, at least to promote the Africanism in the children.
Yes, they could also appreciate their arts.
Yeah, but
should it be a one-day thing?
That's the problem. After that day, what next? They forget about it totally, unless another year they are made to wear this again. Why can't we like add it to the syllabus or something like to teach. Our constitution, I wish that like we could have taught it in our school so that by the time we come to the varsities, we know the constitution. So that at least you are a working constitution. Yeah. When this happens, you know that, okay, this article, this clause, once you trigger it, this is what happens and all that. That was a beautiful thing. The year of return was also one beautiful thing because, but at least as we were having a discussion backstage, and it was centered at specific places, Cape Coast and Accra. But we have so many tourist sites in Ghana here. We have so many beautiful things that they should have seen. But I think it was to be continued because of COVID.
More for improvement and spreading the skill.
So that day was a beautiful day, but we haven't done enough. If it's just a day and nothing else again, I don't think we can use that as a caveat to say that we are doing well in this aspect.
I think because of our time, we'll have to skip one of the aspirations and go to the final one. So let's talk about the final one. I think that also accumulates all of the aspirations. There's a strong Africa, united and influential global player and a partner. Do you find Africa prospectively going to be that global partner with influential people all in it perhaps, and strong with regards to its grounds?
Currently, no. Because you're not even self-reliant. Everything is sourced from out there.
Yeah.
So how do you be a global player when you're always begging around? Meanwhile, we have a lot of resources that puts us even at a better place than these people. They are taken from us. Should that not give us a higher bargaining power? But it seems we carry them and sell them off because we don't even have value in ourselves. To chip in the bit on the culture bit, we are who we are as a people because of how far we've come and what we know about ourselves. We've even lost the African identity in the first place.
Yeah.
We read our history books and our history starts from when British Europeans came to the shores. Yeah. So there were no human beings in this part of the world before they are coming. We read our history books, we read social studies, and they tell us Alexander and whatever came to discover. We were discovered. A place that had the first university in the world in Timbuktu, we were discovered. We don't know our history, and until we go back to that, we are going nowhere. Because you don't even know who we are. You wear African print for an interview and they tell you it's not official.
Yeah,
what is official?
Yeah.
And we are having a day to celebrate what? Meanwhile, we can't even wear our own attire because it's unofficial. We have to, our own attire, we have to be given a specific day to wear them on Fridays. Our own attire in our own country.
That was even an appeal. It wasn't really more of like something
that promotes our culture.
Like we are joking until we go back into history and know who we are and how far we've come. Maybe if we did, we will not be signing certain deals with certain people and certain pacts. Because, and that's what puts the Asia ahead. China has learned. They know what they've gone through the days of the opium, and they know what they've gone through. And they've learned, and now it's like a revenge on the world to take over. What is Africa doing? Have we learned? Do we even take, we don't take anything from the things that have happened in the past to even inform our decisions for the future. It's like we are living as the day goes. And that's why we are going nowhere. We only equate development with high-rise building. And that's not development. If you can't get the basics right, no matter the many high-rise buildings you have in your country, you could still be underdeveloped. So I think the solution to some of these things, if we want to be a global player or whatever it is, we have to go back to our history. We have to have leaders who are truly Pan-Africanists, not those who say it and yet they don't even know how far we've come. Or the dream of some of the Haile Selassies and the Nkrumahs. They know nothing about their dreams. Because if they do, I don't think we'll be where we are today. Until we do that, so that our education and everything falls in line with who we are as a people, we are going nowhere, because until we imbibe these in the little generation growing. Because I can't grow up reading books that tells me my history starts from when Europeans came, as though we were animals on this continent, and you expect that I'll have a high self-esteem to be able to compete with someone out there. It won't work.
It's not possible.
You don't grow up and they tell you it was even a privilege that slave trade came because it brought us schools. Benefits of slave trade. How can there be benefits of slave trade?
Let's see.
What are you doing
And
for
these
that time?
are books written by historians, people who have read history and claim they are masters of it.
They're also limited
And they
maybe.
write these social studies books for the kids to read. See how America is deliberate about what they imbibe in their kids. Yeah. You grow up and think America is the best in the world.
Yeah.
But we know it's not.
Oh.
Oh yeah.
We know it's not. But then it's all over that America is the best in the world because they teach them their identity. Until we go back to our African identity and history, we have no business in the game.
Whoa, that's a passionate one right there.
Very passionate one.
Just give us a wrapping word. What do you have to say about the status of the African Union and towards the Africa we want with regards to aspirations? We've been through, we see perhaps how crestfallen some of the country, the Ecuador has been. What would you have to say? What should the youth do? What should we be looking forward to do to help us fast forward things and also achieve something?
It's been a torrid time for Africans, and we can get there with this plan. If we are to go by it, I think we could get close to the Africa we want. Yeah. But we, the youth, being the heads of this plan, just again, we're having a discussion backstage, and what we have to do is that we need to come together as young people. Now, trust is a very scarce commodity in our system right now. But let's start trusting ourselves. You are into this business, I'm into this business, the same business, we all fighting with the same market share or something like that. Let's come together, partnership. But let's build it from the scratch. Let's trust ourselves as young people that we are the future. We can do this. Let's start learning skills that can put us up there when the time comes. Let's not continue learning things that are abstract, practical things. Skills that are practicable, things that can place us up there. Let's come together as young people. The elderly they've spoiled things up there. We understand. They spoil things. But we find so many youths who are even more corrupted than the elderly. But if we were to come together and champion this common cause, a united youth, because I think Africa has the most number of youths, the youngest, 400 million, those aged between 15 and 35. Yeah. So why can't we do it? Why can't we? There's a question that we are all asking ourselves. If we have the youngest population in the world, why can't you do it? Let's come together as young people. Let's find that unity. If the elderly, they are putting things rough anyhow, we have to come and do things well. Yeah. But we have to start from the scratch. Yeah. If you are ready and willing, I think we are going to get there. Great. But if not, we're going to come back to this same studio maybe 20 years after this discussion and assess it again. What happened? You and I, we contributed to the AU not doing its work. Yeah. But we can start from our country, and the rippling effects will be on the other countries that we have. So I think that's what we can do as young people.
Thank you, Emma. How about you, Mercedes? What do you have to say?
The future is partnerships. Just as Emma said, until we trust ourselves enough to work together, the African Union will be a joke. Because the name says African Union, as in we're supposed to be together. Yeah. And that means it should be promoting partnerships. Until we're able to live to the name and the goal of the union to ensure that there's a prosperous Africa for everyone to be comfortable. I think partnership is the way out. And like I said, we can't do this without knowing who we are. We can't throw our African identity away and take on things. It's like we pick bits and pieces of everything we hear, and so we are losing ourselves. We have to find ourselves and work together. And I think it will be marvelous because Africans are really sharp brains.
Yeah.
If we put it together, it would work.
Thank you so much, Emmanuel Kwesi Mensah and Mercedes Rowe Asamani, for your time. I mean, the African youth out there is so glad that you have stepped in the big shoes and you are also contributing your part to growing the continent. Whatever you have said about the aspirations, I believe that stakeholders, people who are of concern, have heard you, and your sentiments are as good as every young African out there because you are really representing them in terms of what's happening. And just like you said, I mean, unity, partnerships, trust is the only way to go. And everywhere you may find yourself, I think that you can also take part in the discussion. Bring out your view. What do you think we are doing right in Africa? What do you think we are doing wrong? And then let's get the conversation going. It's about time we, the youth, also speak to the matters.
Yeah.
I don't think we know about the development plan for Africa.
No, we don't
How many
know.
of us know about the Agenda 2063?
We don't
That
know.
this is what we have to live up to.
A lot don't even know the day for AU celebration.
So
I mean, the SDGs, how many of us know the SDGs?
I think it's about time we get to know about what plan we have for the continent, and because you are going to pick over from 50 years from now, so you need to know. Thank you very much for your time where you were watching us on AU TV. I'm glad you made time to be with us. Keep watching our programs and bring in your comments. Let's have a conversation, and we'll come your way next time with another program on African Student Voices on AU TV. Have a nice day and bye.